1 minute readiness. Stand by for terminal count.
Последняя минута предстартового отчета.
Ten, 9,
9,
8,
8,
7,
7,
6,
6,
5,
5,
4,
4,
3,
2, 2,
1.
1.
Main engine is at nominal thrust. Begin pitch over.
Директор миссии ответил РС.
На связи.
ILV stabilization is
Прошла
nominal.
команда контакт подъема.
Принято.
Propulsion system performance is nominal. Flight is nominal. ILV stabilization is nominal. ILV is now transonic. Main engine pressure is nominal. Flight is nominal.
Директор миссии ответил РС.
Maximum dynamic pressure.
Точное время КП. 20 часов
ILV
17
stabilization
минут
is nominal.
59,64 секунды. 0,64.
Принято точное время
Propulsion
КП по
system
Гринвичу
performance
20
is nominal.
часов 17 минут 59,064 секунды. Спасибо.
Contact liftoff time was 201759.064 UTC. Flight is nominal. ILV motion is stable. Begin engine throttling to limit acceleration. Flight is nominal. ILV stabilization is nominal. Final sequence of throttling. Flight is nominal. Second stage vernier engine ignition. First stage ignition shutdown. First stage separation. Second stage main engine ignition command is issued. Main engine nominal throttle up. ILV stabilization is nominal. Pressure in main engine and vernier engine is nominal. TLF jettison command is sent.
Fairing separation brake wires are confirmed.
Координатор морских раций, директор миссии. MOC, this is MD. MD,
ILV
go ahead.
stabilization is nominal.
Начать вертолетную инспекцию стартовой платформы. In aerial inspection of the LP. Roger.
Brewster Ground Station confirms receipt of block DM and peeling entry.
Moscow Control Center and ACS confirm receipt of CG's block DM telemetry. ILV flight is nominal. ILV motion is stable. Pressure in main engine and vernier engine is nominal. ILV stabilization is nominal. ILV flight is nominal. Pressure in main engine and vernier engine is nominal.
We are now 4.5 minutes into the flight of the Atlantic Bird 7 satellite, and the first telemetry for the Zenit 3SL launch vehicle looks good.
Nominal.
We have confirmation of first stage separation and jettison of the payload fairing. The second stage engine will burn for 6 minutes, traveling above the atmosphere, then will separate from the Block DMSL upper stage. During this phase of flight, we will hear announcements for the operation of the main engine and the throttling down of this engine. This reduction in thrust allows for a safe shutdown of the main engine.
ILV stabilization is nominal. Pressure in main engine and vernier engine is nominal. ILV flight is nominal. ILV motion is stable. Main engine and vernier engine performance is nominal.
ACS1 confirms receipt of PDRS POU telemetry.
Flight is nominal. ILV stabilization is nominal. ILV axial load is nominal. ILV flight is nominal. Begin second stage throttle down. Flight is nominal. Second stage main engine shutdown confirmed. Pressure in vernier engine is nominal. ILV flight is nominal. ILV axial load is nominal. Vernier engine performance is nominal. Flight is nominal. ILV axial load is nominal. Pressure in vernier engine is nominal. Second stage vernier engine shutdown is confirmed. Zenit block DM separation is confirmed. Axial settling thruster ignition is confirmed. Block DM sleeve adapter sun is confirmed. Gain antennas deployed. First block DM main engine start is confirmed. Block DM main pressure is nominal. Zenit block DM separation occurred at 202624 UTC. Block DM burn 1 ignition time was 202633 UTC. Block DM stabilization is nominal.
We have confirmation that the second stage has jettisoned and the Block DM main engine will now be in operation for almost 6 minutes. This first burn of the Block DM upper stage boosts the spacecraft into a stable parking orbit. Let's take a moment now to take a look at a short film from our friends at Eutelsat.
Eutelsat launches its new Atlantic Bird 7 satellite for 7 degrees west, a key neighbourhood for digital broadcasting across the Middle East and North Africa. The introduction of Atlantic Bird 7 will boost broadcasting capacity at an orbital position which is already used by over 450 television channels to reach an audience of 38 million homes. Eutelsat's newest satellite will replace existing capacity at 7 degrees west and increase operational Ku-band transponders at this hotspot for Arab and international broadcasters. To be co-located with 3 Nilesat satellites, Atlantic Bird 7 will optimize resources to serve a dynamic TV market and open a new chapter in Eutelsat's long-standing relationship with Nilesat. Based on Astrium's Eurostar E3000 platform, the satellite has been designed with 2 footprints that will deliver superior coverage across the Middle East, North Africa and Northwest Africa. Up to 44 transponders will be connected to a broad high-power beam serving the Middle East and North Africa for DTH broadcasting. A second beam over Northwest Africa will be connected to a payload of up to 12 Ku-band transponders for broadcasting and internet services. Atlantic Bird 7 is the first of 2 important satellite launches for Eutelsat in 2011. Atlantic Bird 7 will expand resources at a key orbital location and make a significant contribution to Eutelsat's far-reaching in-orbit expansion program.
The Block DM is now accelerating with the Atlantic Bird 7 satellite at an altitude of about 130 miles, 210 kilometers, and is now almost 1,800 miles downrange from the launch platform, heading east over the equator. The main engine on this stage generates nearly 18,000 pounds of thrust, and during this burn will consume more than 17,000 pounds of propellant. Like the first and second stages of the Zenit booster, the Block DM upper stage also uses a clean mix of liquid oxygen and kerosene as propellant. At 13 minutes into the Atlantic Bird 7 mission, all systems are nominal. Right now we're coming up on the end of the first burn of the Block DM upper stage. Let's listen in.
Main engine pressure is nominal. Block DM flight is nominal. Orbital perigee 170 kilometers confirmed. Main engine pressure is nominal. Block DM flight is nominal. Moscow Control Center confirms all Block DM systems nominal. First Block DM engine shut down. First Block DM main engine shutdown time was 203214 UTC.
We've just learned that the first burn of the Block DM upper stage was completed successfully. The Atlantic Bird 7 satellite and the upper stage will now coast in low Earth orbit for a 37-minute period, after which the Block DM will ignite for a second time. During this coast period, mission managers will be observing the onboard systems of the Block DM and the Atlantic Bird 7 satellite as they travel over the equator. Team members will be monitoring telemetry in the Launch Control Center at the launch site and also at support centers in Moscow and Seattle. Sea Launch depends on the Block DM upper stage for all of its missions. RSC Energia builds this component and designed the Block DM SL we use specifically for Sea Launch operations. The Block DM continues to provide excellent performance and has flown over 250 flights in various configurations. At the launch site, our helicopter is making an aerial inspection of the launch platform and will soon transport a red team to the vessel for closer inspection for safety and for securing. This red team will be making a determination that the platform is a safe environment for personnel re-entry. About 6 hours from now, people will repopulate the launch platform for post-launch tasks. Let's now hear from Eutelstat CEO Michel de Rosen.
Atlantic Bird 7, the first of 7 satellites to be launched by Eutelsat between now and January of 2014 as part of our far-reaching expansion program. Overall, the capacity created by these 7 satellites will increase by 20% the total capacity of Eutelsat to allow Eutelsat to deliver broadband, broadcast and data services to the dynamic regions served by our satellites. Atlantic Bird 7 is no exception. It has been designed to deliver power, reach and flexibility to the fast-growing digital TV markets in North Africa and the Middle East. These represent the most dynamic TV markets in the world. Each of our satellites is carefully designed for our chosen markets and at the same time highly flexible so as to be able to adjust to unexpected opportunities. This combination of meticulous design and high flexibility is a critical feature of the foundation for Eutelsat's success. Atlantic Bird 7 will also open a new chapter in our excellent relationship with our partner Nilesat, a partnership that we started 5 years ago in 2006. Indeed, Atlantic Bird 7 will be collocated with 3 Nilesat satellites to optimize bandwidth at the sweet spot of satellite TV in North Africa and the Middle East. Here from Paris, I send my greetings and thanks to our 2 colleagues, Craig Williamson and Peter Newell, and to our 9 Astrum colleagues now on the commandership in the Pacific Ocean, and of course to all the Sea Launch colleagues who have worked and are still working hard on this project.
Let's now hear some remarks from Ayaz Baksov, Chief Executive Officer, Sea Launch AG.
Grüezi, ich heiße Ayaz Baksov, ich bin Vorsitzender der Geschäftsleitung Firma Sea Launch AG. Ich möchte diese Gelegenheit nutzen, unseren Hauptsitz und unsere Firma vorzustellen. Haben wir uns entschieden, unseren Hauptsitz niederzulassen aus folgenden wichtigen Gründen. Die Schweiz ist politisch neutral und zudem hat die Schweiz auch eine Gesetzgebung, die die Entwicklung von internationalen und grenzüberschreitenden Geschäftstätigkeiten optimal fördert. Wir wollen auch näher zu unseren europäischen und nahöstlichen Kundschaft zu sein, weil diese Märkte wachsen jetzt rasant. Wir wollten auch die Prozessengestaltung und Kommunikation effizienter aufzubauen zwischen unseren russischen Partnern, Lieferanten, Kunden und auch Kollegen in den USA. Und ein anderer wichtiger Grund war es, um an die exzellente finanzielle Infrastruktur der Schweiz anzuschließen. Sea-Launch ist ein führendes Raumfahrtunternehmen, das Raketenstarts von einer dafür speziell gebauten Plattform im Pazifik in der Nähe von Äquator vermarktet, basierend auf Zenit 3SL Trägerraketen. Es werden dabei schwere Nutzlasten befördert. Und dieser Start von Atlantic Bird 7 ist unser 31. Start und der erste Start nach der Reorganisation. Sea-Launch bietet der Satellitenbetreibergemeinde strategisch durchgehende Lösungen an. Diese Leistungen beinhalten die Bereitstellung der Raumfahrtdienste sowie auch Terminplansicherung, Finanzierung, Risikovorsorge, Versicherung, Vertragslösungen, um den wechselnden Anforderungen des kommerziellen Lancierungsmarktes zu genügen. Vom Hauptsitz in Bern in der Schweiz bietet Sea-Launch sämtlichen Kunden eine industrieführende Erfahrung und beschäftigt dabei eine höchst erfahrene Gruppe von Führungskräften und Mitarbeitern. Unsere Kernkompetenzen liegen in Unternehmensführung, strategischer Planung, Finanzierung, Marketing, Verkauf, Kommunikation und Kundendienste.
Welcome back to our live coverage of the launch of the Atlantic Bird 7 broadcast satellite. At 18 minutes into this mission, the Block DM upper stage and the Atlantic Bird 7 satellite are coasting in orbit. The Block DM has successfully completed the first of 2 burns, injecting the satellite into a parking orbit. This orbit, and then a second burn of the upper stage, enables the delivery of the spacecraft to a higher orbital perigee height for the geosynchronous transfer orbit, which translates into a longer spacecraft lifetime. The spacecraft and the Block DM are now traveling in an easterly direction, taking the equatorial route across the Pacific Ocean, South America, and the Atlantic Ocean towards the African continent. The Sea-Launch mission design process is very flexible and allows the spacecraft to take full advantage of the Zenit 3SL's heavy lift capability. Sea-Launch works with each customer during mission integration to optimize the injection conditions that best suit the spacecraft's orbital needs. Our flight designers at Boeing, Yuzhnoye, and Energia work together to create a specific optimized mission profile that meets the requirements for each of our customer spacecraft. Once the spacecraft is built and delivered to our payload processing facility at Sea-Launch Home Port, launch preparations get underway. Here's what those operations look like. Astrium delivered the Atlantic Bird 7 satellite to Sea-Launch Home Port on August 3rd. The spacecraft was brought to Sea-Launch's payload processing facility, where it was tested, fueled, and encapsulated in the payload fairing. The payload team transferred the encapsulated spacecraft in what we call the payload unit from the payload processing facility to the Sea-Launch commander, where it was mated with the upper stage of a Zenit 3SL launch vehicle. The fully integrated launch vehicle was transferred from the ship to the Odyssey launch platform. Then, the rocket was rolled out of its protective hangar and erected on the launch pad. In its vertical position, the rocket was put through a series of mechanical and electrical tests that verified all systems were in order. At the conclusion of these tests, the rocket was lowered to its horizontal position, returned to the hangar, and prepared for transit to the launch site on the equator. The launch platform departed Home Port on September 8th, and the Sea-Launch commander followed on September 11th. The 2 vessels rendezvoused at sea on September 14th and soon began operations at the launch site at 154 degrees west longitude. The team ballasted the launch platform about 65 feet to its launch depth, and the countdown was initiated at L-72 hours. A day before the launch, the rocket was rolled out and erected to a vertical position on the launch pad. After final tests and fueling, the Sea-Launch system was ready for today's launch. That's a brief look at some of the preparations that occurred at Home Port leading up to today's 22 minutes in today's mission, nearly halfway to into our coast period, with the Block DM upper stage and the Atlantic Bird 7 spacecraft approaching South America, traveling directly over the equator, as we see on our tracking map. They're taking the satellite to the optimum position for the beginning of the second burn of the Block DM upper stage. While our team in the Launch Control Center at the equator is monitoring all systems, let's hear this message from Eutelsat Chief Commercial Officer Andrew Wallace.
Atlantic Bird 7 new first-class resources to consolidate Eutelsat's position in the Middle East and in North Africa. These are important markets in terms of the number of households equipped for direct TV reception and which contribute themselves to the region's growth. Eutelsat has been very active in the expansion of this television in the region throughout the last 20 years. We began with the transmission of the national analogue TV channels from the Hotbird position, but it's with the arrival of digital television that the real audiovisual boom happened. From the 90s onwards, private audiovisual groups initiated a vast number of offerings. The primary growth driver is the exceptional variety of content available on the satellites covering this region, particularly in free-to-air. Nowadays, nearly 1,600 television channels are broadcast by satellite in the Middle East and North Africa. This growth will continue. Estimates are that the number will approach 3,000 channels by the end of the decade. It's also interesting that this variety of content is ahead of its time and firmly woven into the local economy and the culture of the region. If one takes, for instance, the 370 television channels currently broadcast by our Atlantic Bird 4A satellite, which the Atlantic Bird 7 satellite will replace, 80% of these programs are in Arabic. International channels only account for 20% of the offer. Today, it's estimated that more than 40 million households in the region are equipped for direct satellite TV reception. This means that 2 households out of every 3 are equipped with a dish or dishes for satellite television programs. This is one of the highest penetration rates in the world. The market may be large, but it's still one of the most dynamic in terms of development. In the 4 years to 2010, 13 million households in the Middle East and North Africa acquired their first direct satellite reception equipment. That's an average growth of 10% per year. Like everywhere else in the world, high definition is gaining prominence and is another growth driver for the whole sector of satellite television broadcasting. At present, high definition represents only a few major channels, but it should account for 16% of the total by 2020. In conclusion, Eutelsat is proud to launch Atlantic Bird 7 into this dynamic market. We look forward to using this new satellite to serve our customers and their viewers with the latest technology. This is the latest example of our long-term commitment to this exciting market and exciting dynamic region.
We also had an opportunity to chat with Eutelsat's Atlantic Bird 7 program manager about the spacecraft and his experience with sea launch. Here's Craig Williamson. Oh, and now Shell Carlson, President of Sea Launch, will tell us about the support of all our customers.
The Sea Launch restructuring effort would never have been possible without the support that we have received from the customer community. Since day one, they were supporting us wholeheartedly and wanted us to return to the market. Without doubt, everyone that had made commitments and wanted to make commitments wanted to see Sea Launch back and flying again. And today is the culmination of all those efforts. And again, without a doubt, a great thanks goes out to the customers for the support that they provided me personally and also the entire Sea Launch team during this difficult period. From the customer perspective, we have focused on the robustness of the supply chain, the increased transparency that we're offering all our customers, which includes quarterly factory visits, monthly production reports. In addition to that, we also continued to focus on our mission assurance that we had prior to the restructuring and which we will have going forward. Another important aspect from our customers' perspective is the now strong capital base of Sea Launch. We have emerged with no debt, a strong liquidity, and the great support from our owner, Energia, which is a strategic owner going forward, and they are looking forward to the success of Sea Launch as an organization and as a company, and we're looking forward to work with them to ensure that this happens.
We also had an opportunity to chat with Eutelsat's Atlantic Bird 7 program manager about the spacecraft and his experience with Sea Launch. Here's Craig Williamson.
My name's Craig Williamson. I'm the Eutelsat program manager for Atlantic Bird 7. We've closely followed the progress of Sea Launch in rebuilding the company. Overall, we're impressed by the strength of the core teams in place and by the continuation of hardware production during the interruption of service. The infrastructure at home port has also been properly maintained during that period, and this has allowed the sea launch team to quickly and efficiently resume operations. Our perspective as satellite operators is that a successful and competitive launcher industry can only be beneficial. We look forward to the opportunities that will bring and to the successful first launch for Eutelsat. We plan a second launch with Sea Launch in 2012. We wouldn't be here today but for the hard work of Astrium, the satellite supplier, so I'd like to thank them for their efforts so far. We look forward to a successful delivery of a high-performance satellite into orbit that will serve our clients for the next 15 years at least.
Welcome back to our Atlantic Bird 7 mission coverage, coming to you live from Sea Launch Home Port in Long Beach, California, and from our launch site, 154 degrees west longitude at the Pacific Ocean. The launch team continues to monitor the Block DM upper stage and the Atlantic Bird 7 satellite as they coast in a parking orbit over the equator. All operations are performing as planned. And now we'll hear from Kurt Peiser, Chief Operating Officer of Energia Logistics Limited.
Well, since Sea Launch AG has been tasked with the sales and marketing function, that allows Energia Logistics to focus on the operations and the maintenance of the facility. So we are primarily responsible now for conducting the launch operation. We are responsible for mission assurance. We have the systems engineering function, which controls the configuration of the launch vehicle and the flight systems. We also support the factory reviews on behalf of the customer. From the customer perspective, there really shouldn't be any difference. When we were developing the architecture for the new organization, that was one of the basic ground rules, that it should be transparent to the customer. The interface to the customer should still remain the same, which is the Energia Logistics mission manager. The teams that are performing the actual analysis integration function remain the same: Boeing Commercial Space Company, RSC Energia, and SDO Yuzhnoye. The flight hardware remains the same. We have changed none of our major suppliers. The heritage suppliers are still in place. And as far as the operations team goes, we have been very successful in bringing back a significant amount of people with sea launch experience. In fact, it's at 93%.
While the spacecraft travels in space with the BM upper stage, let's take a look at this explanation from our friends at Eutelsat on the critical maneuvers that will take place in the hours and days that follow spacecraft separation. Here's Eutelsat Layout Mission Director John Kelly.
So my name is John Kelly. I'm sitting in the Eutelsat LEOP Satellite Control Center, and I'm the Mission Director for Atlantic Bird 7. Atlantic Bird 7 is our 11th LEOP here in this center. Basically, the LEOP center is split into 3 rooms. We have the main control room, which is where we are at the moment, and this is where we would have the mission directors, we would have the operational director from Astrium, we would have the ground system people here, and network and facilities support. So here's the main heart. We also have the Eutelsat authorities, who are the main responsible for the mission itself. Then in the second room next door, we have the specialists. So they would have all of the technical specialists for all of the subsystems including electrical power subsystem, ADCS, thermal, all controlled by a satellite team leader. Now I'd like to go into a little bit of details of the specific mission of AB7. So our part of the mission actually starts probably up to 13 minutes after separation, when we have full telemetry and TC coverage. At this point we have operations to start spacecraft initialization. So we see here that the first telemetries will be picked up from South Africa, from Pretoria, and then we will pick up a full set from Kumsan in India, which is the second of our ground stations for this LEOP. This first part of the sequence will look after as I say, the spacecraft initialization, the solar array deployments, and the first sun acquisition phase. Then, as you see, we have a very elliptical orbit which the launching puts us into, and there are 3 apogee engine firings which are done in order to circularize the orbit and to take out any residual inclination. We're quite fortunate with this particular mission because the inclination is very close to 0 and we don't need to do much adjustment for this. So each of these apogee engine firings take about 1.5 hours, so it's some time, and they're done at obviously at this specific area to raise the perigee and circularize the final orbit. So this will take approximately 8 to 9 days, at which point we will come to close to our longitude, our final test longitude, where we will do the final solar array deployments, the antenna reflector deployments, and the final Earth acquisition, where we do the final Earth pointing. This then gives us in a position where we will start an in-orbit test. We will test first the reflectors and then most of the other aspects of the payload and of the platform. At the end of the test period, when we've handed over to the Eutelsat SCC, there will be about a total of 1 month from the launch to the final on-station operation of the satellite.
We are now 31 minutes into the Atlantic Bird 7 mission, and all systems are nominal. The Block DM upper stage is coasting with the Atlantic Bird 7 satellite over the Atlantic Ocean. In 20 minutes, the Block DM main engine will ignite for its second burn. This operation will be about 6 minutes in length. The launch team is monitoring all of the systems of the Block DM upper stage and the Atlantic Bird 7 satellite during this coast period, and all operations have been performing within acceptable parameters as planned. That's been the case throughout this mission. The upper stage and the satellite are now traveling about 370 miles, or 595 kilometers, above the Earth over the Atlantic Ocean. At the launch site, a small team is inspecting the launch platform to determine its safety for personnel to begin transferring over from the Sea Launch Commander. In the meantime, let's take a look at some fascinating video of how the Atlantic Bird 7 was built by Astrium. We're anticipating the second burn of the Block DM in about 10 minutes. As we wait for that, here's a tribute to just some of the people that made today's mission possible. We're back and we're awaiting word from the Launch Control Center that the Block DM is starting its second burn of this mission. Let's listen in.
All Block DM systems performing nominally. Block DM flight is nominal. Block DM stabilization is nominal. All Block DM systems are nominal. Second Block DM main engine start confirmed. Block DM main engine pressure is nominal. Block DM flight is nominal.
We have confirmation that the second burn of the Block DM upper stage is now in operation.
Block DM burn to start time was 21 hours, 09 minutes, 26 seconds UTC.
As this operation continues, we have just enough time to take a look at our growing mission album. Block DM is now completing a 6-minute burn that puts the upper stage and the spacecraft into geosynchronous transfer orbit. We'll listen to the Launch Control Center for the latest word on the end of this second burn.
Block DM main engine pressure is nominal. Block DM flight is nominal. Block DM stabilization is nominal. Block DM main engine pressure is nominal. Block DM flight nominal. Block DM stabilization is nominal. Block DM burn 2 shutdown is confirmed. Block DM burn 2 shutdown 21 hours, 15 minutes, 17 seconds CC. Block DM flight terminal.
Block DM's second burn successfully completed, the upper stage will begin maneuvers in preparation for spacecraft separation during this next 10-minute coast period. At this point in the mission, the attitude control system stabilizes the Block DM and the spacecraft, orienting them in the proper position for spacecraft separation. Then, the Block DM issues a separation command to the payload adapter. Sea Launch provides the appropriate spacecraft adapter and separation system to meet the customer's specific requirements. For this mission, we are using the low-shock 1194VS clamp band separation system built for Sea Launch by RUAG Space. The Astrium Eurostar 3000 spacecraft will be separated from the Block DM by a set of springs specifically located to meet the customer's requirements. While these operations are proceeding in orbit, members of the launch team at the equator are monitoring telemetry from the onboard systems of the Block DM upper stage and the satellite, coasting over the east coast of the African continent towards the Indian Ocean. At this time, operators at the Hartebeespoort ground station near Pretoria, South Africa, will track the first telemetry systems from the Atlantic Bird 7 until approximately 2 minutes after separation. Following that, about 10 minutes later, operators at the Land Earth Station near Kumsan, South Korea, will begin tracking of the satellite to also acquire its telemetry signals. The spacecraft is coasting in geosynchronous transfer orbit with the Block DM upper stage, preparing for spacecraft separation in about 8 minutes. As we mentioned, the Block DM will be orienting into the proper position to issue the separation command to the payload adapter. While we are waiting, you might be interested to know some more information about Energia. Founded in 1946 and an original Sea Launch partner since its inception, RSC Energia is a leader of the Russian and international space industry and one of its largest space integrators, receiving about 40% of the total Russian Federation's space funding. RSC Energia is a public corporation, fiscally transparent, and is 38% owned by the government of the Russian Federation. As the prime contractor for all Russian Federation manned flights, RSC Energia receives a significant portion of its revenues from manned programs, NASA ISS resupply, and other federal contracts, and employs approximately 18,000 people. The company's list of accomplishments reads like the history of Russian space exploration. From the first artificial satellite Sputnik and the launch vehicle that took it to orbit, the R-7, Energia's heritage had included production of space vehicles, including the first manned spacecraft, Earth and communication satellites, orbital stations, including the Mir and Soyuz programs whose technology has been integral to the success of the International Space Station, launch vehicles such as the N-1 rocket, analogous to NASA's Saturn V rocket, interplanetary probes, including the first unmanned spacecraft landing on a body other than Earth. Energia currently builds Russia's Soyuz TMA spacecraft for three-person human spaceflight missions and Progress-M robotic spacecraft for cargo missions. and space transfer vehicles, which include the Block DMS-L series currently used by Sea Launch, which are among the most reliable and versatile engines ever built for space exploration. Earlier, we saw our collection of liftoffs from the Odyssey launch platform, and all from the same position on the equator at 154 degrees west longitude. Our launches begin with the same operation all through the year, night and day. The first stage powers the ascent phase for the first 2.5 minutes. Then, each mission follows a custom-designed flight path from there. Right now, we're monitoring live audio from the Launch Control Center for word of spacecraft separation. Let's listen in.
Block DM stabilization is nominal. Block DM flight is nominal. All Block DM systems are nominal.
Okay, we're about 1:05 into the 1 hour and 5 minutes into the spacecraft mission, and we're still awaiting the spacecraft separation. We'll continue to listen in.
Block DM stabilization is nominal.
Brewster Ground Station's confirmed loss of TRIS-41 as planned.
POGDM flight is nominal. ACS confirms Block DM spacecraft separation.
The Moscow controller has confirmed spacecraft separation.
21 hours, 25 minutes, 07 seconds UTC.
The spacecraft is now moving away from the Block DM upper stage. The Block DM performs a set of maneuvers to distance itself from the spacecraft to avoid any recontact or contamination. This is a routine maneuver for sea launch missions. Our final major event in tonight's mission will be spacecraft acquisition. In about 12 minutes after the separation of Atlantic Bird 7 and following the initial acquisition for a few minutes only of the telemetry signal at the Harabistok ground station near Pretoria, South Africa, the operators at the Land Earth station near Kumsan, South Korea will have their tracking dishes pointed at the horizon to confirm continuous reception of signal from the Atlantic Bird 7 satellite as it coasts over the Asian Peninsula. As we're awaiting spacecraft acquisition, here's more information about sea launch.
Propulsion system 12 is nominal. Flight is nominal. Begin pitch over.
The team in the Launch Control Center is monitoring communications for word of spacecraft acquisition. We anticipate that Astrium will be confirming this event with Valery Aliyev, our mission director, within the next few minutes. Once the ground station acquires a signal from the Atlantic Bird 7 spacecraft, operators will take control using onboard thrusters and the onboard attitude control system. They will direct the spacecraft to its preliminary testing location and initiate activities required for solar panel deployment. When the test phase is completed, operators will move the satellite to its final orbital position at 7 degrees west longitude. Atlantic Bird 7 is now coasting in a transfer orbit that at its apogee is more than 22,000 miles, or about 35,600 kilometers, above the Earth. We're anticipating word of spacecraft acquisition at any time, so we're standing by for that news. The time of this milestone event is always estimated. It's a matter of the station in Kumsan, South Korea, tracking the satellite on orbit and acquiring its signal as it gains line of sight when the satellite comes over the horizon. We'll stand by as we await word. In the meantime, let's talk a little bit about the role of one of the more unique pieces of hardware that Sea Launch uses, that of the Odyssey launch platform. During the final stage of the launch countdown, the platform is operated remotely from controls located on the bridge of the Sea Launch Commander by the Odyssey Marine officers. This transfer of control of the launch platform began at approximately L-18 hours, and the control will be transferred back to the bridge of the Odyssey at launch 2 hours. The platform is gradually depopulated, and at launch -3 hours and at L-15 minutes, a group called the team leave the platform for the Sea Launch Commander. Okay, we've just got some new information. We have confirmation of space acquisition, and we have mission success for Bird 7. This achievement marks the 29th successful mission for Sea Launch, to be the first to congratulate Eutelsat on the satellite in orbit, now transmitting its first signals. I also want to congratulate Astra, the builder of Atlantic Bird 7. Now here's Shell Carlson, president of Sea Launch.
That was a fantastic launch, and I would like to congratulate Eutelsat and Astrum on today's successful mission. It's been a long way to get here, and I would like to thank all the teams for their hard work, dedication, professionalism, and efforts to get here. Especially the teams from Eutelsat and Astrum, our Sea Launch team, Energia Logistics, our partners in Russia, and our friends in Ukraine for all doing what they needed to do to make today successful. Again, a fantastic mission. Sea Launch is back. This was our 31st. We're now getting prepared for our 32nd mission. Thank you all.
To recap tonight's events, a 3-stage Zenit 3SL launch vehicle lifted off from the Odyssey launch platform positioned on the equator in the Pacific Ocean at 1:18 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. The Zenit 3SL vehicle successfully delivered the Atlantic Bird 7 communications satellite to geosynchronous transfer orbit. Operators at ground stations near Pretoria, South Africa and near Kumsan, South Korea acquired the first signals from the satellite, marking this mission a complete success. This concludes coverage of the launch of the Atlantic Bird 7 satellite. I'd like to personally thank our teammates at sea and at home port and the families who support us, and thanks to our partners and our suppliers for their contributions to this mission.
Propulsion system performance is nominal. Flight to nominal.
On behalf of all of us at Sea Launch, I want to extend our thanks to all of our viewers for joining us for today's launch coverage and another successful mission for Sea Launch. Sea Launch continues to build a legacy, one successful launch website at www.sea-launch.com. I'm Malcolm Orrell, bidding you farewell on behalf of the Sea Launch team at launch site and here in Long Beach, California, and our partners and customers worldwide.